Maria Howell here from NCAA Digital. About a year ago, a student athlete named Grant Calvert, who is a goalkeeper now at Belmont University, was going through a tough time. He wasn't sure if he wanted to continue playing soccer or hang up his boots for good. In an effort to look for some direction, he sent an Instagram message to one of his role models and U.S. men's national team goalkeeper, Matt Turner. Matt Turner has gone through his own fair share of struggles at the collegiate level when he was a student athlete at Fairfield University. Matt responded to the DM and reminded Grant to find a way to enjoy the sport, to just have fun with it. Grant, who has built a pretty heavy TikTok following and is known as Granny Calves, made a video about the inspiring interaction. And a few weeks ago, a coworker of mine sent me that video, and right away, I knew the two had to meet. First question, Matt, why did you decide to respond to that DM? Obviously, you must get a lot. What stood out, and what was kind of your motivation to answer that?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, since then, a lot has changed in my life. So I don't really look at my DMs as much anymore, if at all, really. I don't know what happened that day. I must have just opened it up and seen that Grant reached out, and you get a lot of weird ones, but this one didn't seem weird to me. It seemed for somebody that was genuinely, reaching out, looking for advice and taking. The reason I like to talk about my story is because for situations like this, exactly, and yeah, just to inspire people to keep going, and and you never know, like being a goalkeeper can be really challenging. So nobody understands a goalkeeper like another goalkeeper.
And Grant, how did that feel for you to get that response?
Yeah, it was a little surreal. It was awesome for sure, because it was just kind of a shot in the dark, and I was just looking for anyone. And the fact that he responded in such a timely manner, and it just really helped me. It was awesome.
In a call I had with Grant a few weeks ago, he was like, that conversation was the first domino that made me decide to continue playing. So go ahead and you can say thank you, Grant, if you want.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I haven't really got to thank you in person, I guess, but yeah,
right,
thanks,
right.
man. Really
This
appreciate
is
it.
this is the in person, the 2020 and beyond in person. But yeah, I mean, literally, honestly, it makes me feel really happy that I was able to, help one person, to keep going, because we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to be perfect and to succeed. And in reality, if you get down to the roots of it, of why you started playing, for the most part, most of us started playing because it was fun, because we loved it. And you can't lose sight of that. So I think that that's really, really important, and something that a lot of people can lose touch with over time.
So not to throw you under the bus or anything here, Matt, but tomorrow is actually the 10-year anniversary of your not top 10 moment that happened at Fairfield, and you guys were playing against Iona. It happened on October 16th, and believe it or not, that was 10 years ago. So talk me through that moment. Obviously, it was tough. How did you even see the video? What were you feeling, and how did you get through that?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, 10 years is a long time, huh? That's a decade. That's crazy. Yeah, I saw the video. This was kind of like before the videos going viral era. I feel like nowadays anything that you do or say can be recorded and broadcast. And 10 years ago, things weren't really like that, particularly playing at a small school like Fairfield. Nobody ever really paid attention to things that happened. So I was obviously devastated, just because, it was my opportunity. I'd worked so hard to get that opportunity to step foot on the field, and was training, making a lot of sacrifices on my personal life and college and stuff. And yeah, so I was devastated. But I was in my room, laying down in bed, doing some homework, and one of my buddies that I met my freshman year, his name was Luke. He called me, and he wasn't on the soccer team or anything. Like, we were just friends, and he called me. He's like, dude, you gotta come up here right now. He lived a few floors above me at this time, because it was my sophomore year now. So I go up to his room. I'm just hanging. He's like, dude, look at this. And it was, I can't even remember. I think it was like maybe the Twins versus the Indians in like the ALCS or something crazy like that. Like on the ticker on the side of ESPN, how they used to have it. And just amongst all of it, there was one slide that said like epic goalie fail, basically. And sure enough, at the top of the hour, epic goalie fail comes back around, and it's my video. From there, I just kind of owned it, sent out a little tweet trying to like laugh it off. But really, I was devastated, because I felt like I was already an underdog, and it was really hard for me to find a college to play at, let alone a summer league team to play at. And I just felt like all the chips were stacked against me. And yeah, it was hard, but I just owned it, really. Mistakes happen. You see goals like that happen at the top level. Like, people make mistakes, and I just relied a lot on my family and my friends around me, to just have fun. And then having an experience like that, you can kind of go one of two ways. You can either like turn off completely from the sport, or you can, choose to learn from it. And for me, it helped actually break me down a little, in order to build myself back up stronger, like with these new anchors. And it felt really good to have that sort of experience at a young age, where I could, realize how important my family and my friends were, my circle being really tight, realize how important that was at a young age. And also get back to what I said to Grant, like, just have fun with it.
So I want to talk a little bit more just about the distinct struggle that goalkeepers obviously face. Not everybody is super familiar, if not a soccer player, of how tough it can be just going multiple seasons without having a starting position. So I'll start off with Grant, and then you can toss over to Matt. How do you stay motivated during those times, or what does it even feel like to have that kind of long periods of time without starting time?
So it's definitely really tough, and every goalkeeper really goes through it past like obviously the club level when you're like 10 years old, when you're playing every game. But what really has helped me is really focus on the stuff that I can control, like the internal stuff, not necessarily focusing on the external. Because when you start worrying about all the other stuff you can't control, instead of just working on yourself and competing against yourself and trying to be a better goalie, that's when stuff really just started to go wrong for me personally in my first experience playing college at SLU. And that's something I've really focused on now, sort of my second chapter at Belmont. And that's really helped me mentally and on the field for sure.
Goalkeepers, like, as much as I said, we understand each other the best, it's really a battle against yourself, because it's hard trying to be perfect all the time, right? Like, if a goal goes in, it's like a personal attack in some ways to your own self, and it can be really challenging to cope with things, and especially when the margins are so thin of what constitutes success and what constitutes failure, right? Like an inch, a centimeter, a little bit of your angle or whatever it is. Like, there's such fine details that are like success on one side and failure on the other, and you're always sort of like hanging in that balance. So it's really hard, especially when you're a second or third string and you're fighting to get into the team and you have chances to, and then it doesn't go according to plan and you feel like it's all gone. But like Grant said, you kind of have to look internally, focus on yourself, focus on what you can control. You can't control team selection. You can't control the conditions of the field. You can't control so many things that you can't control, but what you can control is, being a good teammate and having a good attitude. And I always found, like, I've been a third string, a second string, a first string. I've been all up and down the depth chart. And I'd like to think that my approach every single day, whether I be the starter or the second string or the third string, has always been the same. And I take great pride in that.
Awesome. And last question, just to wrap it up. So moving forward, specifically in the collegiate athlete world and specifically for goalkeepers, how do you feel like goalkeepers can be best supported by coaches and staff and teammates and family? Matt, what do you think the solution is?
I'm not sure it's like a perfect solution. I mean, I encourage any goalkeeper who's struggling with mental health, or if they're struggling with their confidence on the pitch, to go talk to somebody. I talk to people all the time. I've had a sports psychologist. I've had, like I mentioned, when I went through a really tough time back in college, I relied a lot on my family and my friends. And you'd be surprised the type of perspective and help that the people closest to you can offer, even if they don't quite understand exactly what it's like to be a goalkeeper or the pressure that you're putting on yourself in your head. Sometimes just saying things out loud makes you realize how, insignificant they can be. So yeah, I encourage everybody, don't be shy to open your mouth or to speak, because sometimes that's the biggest sign of strength, and it's not a weakness to seek seek help, to seek reassurance.
Awesome. Thank you. I know you got to run, but we really
No,
appreciate
it's all good. I mean, I also I like to chit chat, so it's all good. I mean, I talked a lot. Grant, I was happy to see that. I mean, I didn't respond on Instagram for it to come to light, you know. Really, I responded because I want to look out for people and anybody in this world that I can help. So I'm glad that it set you on a really good way. And man, I look forward to seeing your future and following along for sure, because there definitely is one.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt. And I just wanted to sort of let you know, in a way, you sort of inspired me to do the same thing for other goalkeepers, because now on my TikTok page, I've sort of like built a community with goalkeepers that are younger, whether it's ECNL or MLS Next or whatever they're doing. And they'll sort of shoot me questions similar to ones I sent you. And I'm able to somewhat pass down my knowledge now, because like, in my sense, I was one looking up to you, right? But since they're younger, they look up to, I guess, me, because they
And I
want
guess
to become
they
Division I
definitely
players.
do, my man. They definitely do.
So it's been awesome, because now I feel like I can also do what you did for me and help younger goalkeepers. So you reaching out didn't just affect me; it also affected a lot of other people. So
I
thank you again.
appreciate that. Yeah, that's awesome, man. And I'm glad that you're able to build that and keep spreading the good word of the goalkeeping gospel.
Yes, sir, brother.
I love that. All right, Matt. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Nice to meet you guys, Grant. We'll talk soon. All right.
Yes, sir. Thanks again, Matt.
All right. No problem. See you guys.